Welcome to episode 160, a little bit of a milestone, to Gracefully and Frankly. I'm Erin Davis.
I'm Lisa Brantz, and we are in Mexico.
Okay, geography, I didn't tell you there'd be a test. Geography quiz.
Where are we in Mexico?
Yes, come on.
We are in Nuevo Vallarta.
Yay!
Yeah, I told everybody before I left that we were going to be in Puerto Nuevo, and that is a very different place near Tijuana.
Yes, it is. It is, as a matter of fact. A cab ride from Tijuana, which is right up near the California border. But no, we're much closer to Puerto Vallarta, of which you've only seen so far the airport. But, we have an airport story. We have all kinds of stories for you as we're together. And you know what? This is the first time Lisa and I, in all 160 episodes, have done one face-to-face.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Because you have recorded at my place.
Yes.
But we were in separate recording booths.
Yes. So other than a Facebook Live, which we are having 1 week today, Thursday, January 22nd, put it in your calendar, in your phone, in your laptop, on the wall, whatever you want, at 8 p.m. Eastern for, I guess, an hour?
An hour.
So we're going to be doing that, and we're going to try and do it horizontally this time. And if it doesn't work, you and I will lie down.
You know what the problem was? Turning the phone once we were on. And I think the phone got turned and then all sorts of stuff happened. So this time we're going to do it. Listen, it's two women. We're a cottage industry. We do everything ourselves with help from Rob and Derek here, mostly Rob, because we call him most often. So we will take your questions in advance. We'll take anything you'd like us to discuss in advance on our Facebook page through gracefullyandfrankly.com. However it is you would like to get that information to us, and just tell us what you'd like to know or like to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, before I forget, which I do have a tendency to do, especially when I'm with you, I'm like a ricochet rabbit with subjects when we're talking, and it goes for hours, but it's big fun, is the emails that we've gotten about email inquiries that people have received regarding our Facebook page. What is it, Lisa?
They're coming from our website. So what has happened is, if someone has, in the last, 2 years that we've had the website, however long it is we've had it, has gone and signed up for the so far non-existent newsletter, they immediately get an email saying, verify your email. And that is completely normal because we don't want to bother with spam and bots and all that kind of stuff and empty emails. We want to know that you really want it. So that happens when you sign up. Now, the host of our website upgraded some stuff in their system that I don't understand, but it took everybody's email address as being just put in.
Oh.
So it sent that email again. There's nothing wrong with that email. It's not spam. It's not phishing. It's not anything like that, but you've already dealt with that. So just delete it. And you don't have to bother with it. Just delete it unless you have just signed up. It's not anything harmful. It was just a little glitch inside the system, and they happen.
Okay, are we ever going to do a newsletter? Why would we?
I don't know.
We do our blogs.
We do this thing.
Yep.
We do Facebook Lives whenever we can. We post all over Facebook.
Yeah, you've got enough of us.
That's what I think.
Yeah, maybe we send out a newsletter reminding people about the Facebook Live next week.
Okay.
You get on that. I'm going to leave it to Lisa.
I love being with this idea person. Okay, I got a great idea. You make it happen.
That's right.
Yeah, that's so not true. You take on everything.
Oh, I don't. But let's take on your trip here. This is Thursday. You arrived on Monday. First off, there's so much to tell you, but it was the drive to the airport in Hamilton. You know that saying that people tell nervous flyers, you're more likely to die on the highway on the way to the airport than you are on a plane? Well, Lisa.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, you tell it.
So I was driving to Hamilton Airport has a direct flight on Porter. That's why I flew out of Hamilton. The airport there's wonderful now, too. I hadn't been there in years. Anyway, I'm on the 403 heading toward Highway 6. Anybody in the area knows exactly what I'm talking about. And suddenly it was like I was in a video game. There were cars just racing and getting around me. And if they had been emergency vehicles, it would have made sense. Then I realized what was happening. There was a tractor trailer with its back door wide open.
Ooh.
And it was just fishtailing all over the place. It would be in the left lane and then suddenly look like it's going to go off the shoulder. And it was just driving super erratically. And people were trying to get around it.
Right.
So I called 911 and reported the vehicle because it was so dangerous.
So what did you tell them when you called the operator?
Just what I saw, that the truck was fishtailing all over and that the back door was open. And I think they were almost more concerned about the back door being open because what could fly out?
Well, that explains the cow that went over your car earlier.
Exactly.
Jeez.
I thought it was in Twister, but no. But it was pretty dangerous. And I got off at Highway 6 before they pulled him over, but I actually saw the police car that was coming to pull him over, and I wish I was able to see it, but I had places to go. So, it was pretty dangerous, and he just was not, and I saw it was a he was not paying attention. He just had his mind on his phone and
oh my God.
And didn't have but the back door. I mean,
your brother's a trucker. What did he say about that? Because he would have been the first person that you contacted after the police.
You're absolutely right. And he just said that's just a careless operator, not securing the back doors. I mean, it's fundamental.
Yeah. Does that mean the door was slamming open, close, close the whole time?
No.
It was just wide open the whole time?
It was open. Kevin, my brother, said to me, was it a barn door or something else? And I don't know what it was, but it was just open. So maybe it was one of those ones that pulls down like a garage door or something. But I couldn't see anything in it. But I also couldn't see all the way into a 53-foot trailer. So I don't know.
How scary was that? Was your adrenaline going through your head the whole time?
A bit, I guess. I was really hemming and hawing whether to make the phone call, to tell you the truth, because I don't know. I don't want to be a
narc.
But at the same time, I mean, I had to just have, it might sound funny that I even made a decision as to whether it was dangerous enough, but I had to think about it. I think I thought about it for 25 seconds and then called. So it was just the officer was really nice. And I said, everybody's driving like a lunatic. And she said, it gets windy. People drive crazy. It's just the watch, just the way it is. Okay.
But it wasn't that windy, was it?
It wasn't windy enough to blow his truck around.
Wow.
It was just a stupid drive.
Well, I would love to know what the aftermath was, but even with your little newshound cap on, there's no way for you to find out?
No, not unless I could hear the dispatcher or something, but no, it was probably a warning. My brother would know better. Contact the company. You know, they have transponders on board. They have cameras. They're being monitored with everything they do.
Yeah.
Like if my brother hits the brakes hard, his safety officer is notified and he has to explain himself.
Wow.
Like that's how specific. And I'm not saying he's done it, but that's how regimented it is and how careful they are when they're professional truck drivers. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it for the pros. We are not by any means maligning truck drivers.
No.
It's just there's always the one bad one and then you hear about it. Wow. Well, I'm glad that you got to the airport safely. I'm curious, what makes Hamilton Airport nice now?
Well, it's bigger. I only flew out of it once before, and that was in the 90s. So it's been quite a while. It reminds me of London Airport, but it's just configured differently. London Airport, you kind of have to walk up a bunch of steps to where the gates are. And I think there might even be fewer gates at London. There are 6 at Hamilton.
Wow.
And it's very nice. And there's a coffee shop and a bar and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's just so low key and so no stress. It was wonderful.
Well, and we established last week that you weren't going to play the WestJet lottery in terms of were you going to be in one of those crunchy seats where one of your previous flights couldn't bend down to pick up your laptop or get anything.
And that's not my girth.
No.
That was the seat.
And you do not have super long legs. No. So I would just sit there and cry for the whole trip. But you did win the seat lottery with Porter.
Nobody beside me.
Unbelievable.
It was wonderful. There was a little dog a couple rows back who was apparently a 14-year-old dog under the seat flying with somebody that we heard once in a while. And at first, we couldn't figure out what it was. Nobody could figure out what it was, but it was a pleasant flight.
How'd you find out the age of the dog?
Oh, everybody started asking the woman as soon as they realized. And so I carbon dated it.
Oh, there you go. I recorded the yips on my phone and I asked Siri. Well, it was a good flight.
It was.
Got here. And then chapter 2 is about to begin on Lisa's trip.
I come through with flying colors. Everything was quick and easy. Of course, I didn't have an animal with me. I'm not importing anything,
and not that you're saying on the podcast.
And you're waiting for me right there, probably expecting a much longer wait.
I was sitting on the floor watching dust bunnies across caution tape. That's what I was doing for entertainment. I was about to do a video. People will bet on anything.
Yeah, so I came through pretty quickly, and then we decided to get an Uber.
You're missing the best part. What I brought you to greet you at the gate.
Oh my goodness, how could I forget? Because I was carrying it right away. And so first off, we were both wearing our Too Tired to Be Wired Gracefully and Frankly t-shirts.
Available at our store, gracefullyandfrankly.com.
And you handed me a beverage, but not just any beverage. It was a Corona Zero.
Yeah.
So I had my beer in my hand, no alcohol.
I think you were the only person to get off the plane who A, hadn't had free drinks on Porter, or B, had an alcohol-free beer to greet her. I was going to get you this water. People are looking at other drinks. And so, as I do, I just went in for a little meander. And then I asked the person behind in the fridge section, quiero comprar una cerveza, solo una cerveza. My Spanish is getting better.
It is getting better.
Yeah,
that's good.
Thank you. I only want to buy one beer. And she said, sure. So I go up to the checkout at this kind of a corner store. They're called OXXO, OXXO, and they're down here, and they're kind of like a 7-Eleven plus. You can get anything there. And she pointed out to me, zero alcohol. And I went, yeah, I'm the only one in Mexico buying these things. So anyway, I show up with that for you. And you were so grateful because, you got to be welcomed with a cocktail to Mexico.
It was fantastic. And so I did. I opened it right away. And that was my thirst quencher as we walked a lot before we got our ride.
So I don't have anything against taxis at all, but I happen to know what Rob paid to get from the airport to our house. And it was about 300 pesos, maybe plus a tip. So, you divide it by 10 and then take off 25%. And I know that Uber here is really reasonable, really reliable. I said, that's okay. We're going to catch an Uber, but they're not allowed to come to the airport. So we have to go up this ramp, across 4-6 lanes of highway on the bridge, down the ramp. And then there's a sea of people who are all waiting for either a bus or their ride or their Uber, whatever. Okay, so we're there. I call the Uber and he says, all right, because I had specifically asked for the name of the airport, and I get the response, Jorge, we'll meet you there in 10 minutes outside the restaurant at the airport. So I go, uh-oh, we're not at the airport.
Off the ramp we go. And it's not just one level ramp, it's 2 levels, and it's quite a grade.
It is that. Yeah, our cabs were thanking us for the walk and the workout. And then across the bridge and down the ramp. And so we go over to the airport and we sit in front of this little restaurant that sits outside the airport. It's a nice bar there because, you haven't had enough to drink on the plane. So have another one before you get on your bus. And we're waiting, and then I get the message from Uber, your car is here. And okay, so I get off my butt on the curb, and I'm walking around looking for this Mazda with this license plate. No sign of it. We're looking for a white car, Lisa. What do they have down there?
Everything's white. Every car is white.
Then I get the message, you will be charged X amount of dollars for a no-show. And I text back, we're here. Long-ish story short, because I don't feel like editing on our vacation. We were in the wrong place. It turns out he said, I can't pick you up there. I'm not allowed. And I said, okay, I thought you meant this restaurant. So back we go across the bridge
with my heavy suitcase. We're rolling my heavy suitcase, which you nicely took off my hands for that last one.
And a carry-on bag.
Yeah.
And your survey.
And I surveyed.
Which was very handy. Then we got to the other side. There he was. He was lovely. We got our ride home. But, it wouldn't be Lisa and Aaron if there wasn't some kind of a screw-up. And we ended up with 8,000 steps on the day, and I didn't even go to an airport.
There you go.
Go to travel at an airport. But anyway.
Yeah, it's all about the steps.
It sure is. And we've made a lot of them. Not so much since you arrived Monday. It's been a kind of gentle introduction to Mexican life. I guess people want to know, what have we been doing?
Not a ton yet, which is really good. You know what, Erin, I have to admit, I haven't really talked about this much, but it's not that easy to gear down when you're used to go, go, go. And your brain tells you produce and look for jobs and do this. And because, I'm a freelancer, and it's been a bit of a struggle mentally to go, wait a minute, you don't have to do, just be, just be.
Just be.
It's very important. And it's very important for the brain and for, I don't know about the body, to just get some rest. And so I've been really enjoying it when I remind myself I don't have to get up and record a voiceover or write an article or do anything like that.
Or do a newscast.
But
Lisa had a newsworthy wake-up herself, a kind of a wake-up that would have ended up on one of her newscasts back in southwestern Ontario. Give us the timeline and what happened yesterday.
So it was just after 7, I think. I wasn't really paying attention to the clock because I'm getting into this whole relaxing thing. I was sitting on the bed. I had my phone in my hand, and it felt like somebody either hit the house with a piece of equipment or a vehicle.
Yeah, because there's a lot of construction going on around our home right now. It's a neighborhood that is becoming.
Beautiful neighborhood. And either that happened or somebody just pushed the bed like an inch and a half. And it only lasted maybe a second, but it was so abrupt and so noticeable. It's like the bed moved. I got up and looked outside to see if there was any equipment or if somebody hit the house. And I couldn't see anything at all. And I thought, well, that is weird. I don't know what went on. You were still sleeping. It didn't wake you up. So I just thought, okay, I'll go on with my day. But that was an odd thing.
Yeah. And so I wake up about 2 hours later. I go down, coffee's made. And you asked if I heard the car alarm. No, I didn't hear a car alarm, but the car alarm was not because of the earthquake, which so often happens. It was an earthquake. I buried the lead there. Yes, Lisa experienced an earthquake. Welcome to Mexico.
Well, thank you, because it was a ways away. It wasn't like it happened right here.
Close enough. 28 kilometers away. It was a 4.1. I have an app for earthquakes because, of course, we live on the West Coast in Canada, which is really due for the big one. It happened just at exactly the time that you were on the bed because I said, oh, Lisa, did this happen at, 7:20 a.m.? And you went, yeah, I think it was. It was a 4.1.
Wow.
Which is not huge, but it's not insignificant. And it was 10 kilometers deep. That's what you felt.
Wow.
Yeah.
It never crossed my mind that it was an earthquake. I just thought it must be an apparition. No, I'm kidding. It was just so odd. I just didn't know what it was.
You've been through earthquakes before, right?
Only once did I feel one, and that was when I was driving on the QEW toward Niagara, and it happened, and I just felt like the car had no grip, and everything shook as I was driving. And it's like, what the heck is that? Turn on the radio, 680 News. Sure enough, it was an earthquake. Yeah.
Did you call 911 on that one? No, I did. Okay, everybody's driving weird. Well, I had earthquakes on my radar because there was quite a string of them a few weeks ago and they were significant and people were emailing saying, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, that was 500 kilometers away. But this one, 28K is pretty darn close. So
yeah, weird. And it was just a second, but I guess that's enough.
It was. It was a much better wake-up, all things considered, than your first morning here. Poor Lisa gets here, and, you're discombobulated, and I was hoping that by Tuesday morning you'd be combobulated. Lisa's sitting in the corner because the house is very sunny, and she stays out of the sun for the most part. I'm talking about you like you're not here.
Okay,
that's all right. And she says, could you do me one favor? In this saddest, terrible Dickensian voice, could you make some coffee? So I just very smartly stumble over to the coffee maker and push a button.
The only thing I can think of is I was so tired. I wanted to sleep on the plane so badly, and I couldn't do it because of Mr. and Ms. Chippy Yapperson behind me. So, that's how it goes. And I really felt out of myself. I felt discombobulated. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. And the second you push the button, it's like, you know me better than that. Of course you would make coffee. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
And I sat there for how long reading my book, wishing I could have had a coffee. and it was a button push away.
Oh, you know how to make coffee, though. We are wilderness women here.
But here's the thing. We are here in different water levelville, and I have not gotten straight yet what water is for what and what is for which. And so I just thought, well, I'll just wait. Yeah, it won't be a big deal.
Oh, I would never.
I know.
Oh, well, thank God we have people like Laura Ferry. There's the percolator. Thank you. Am I rubbing it in now? Why didn't you use one of the 5 coffees that Laura Ferry chose for us on Buy Us a Coffee at gracefullyandfrankly.com?
Thank you, Laura. As I said, I wasn't thinking. I needed coffee.
Okay. It's a vicious circle, right? You're not smart enough to know and go and make the coffee because you haven't had one.
Pretty much. Hey, you know, one of the most common questions the gals at Envy Pillow get is, why does your pillow cost so much more than my pillow?
Right.
And it's kind of like fast fashion or fast food. The difference between spending, a couple of bucks on a jacket that's going to rip in 2 wearings, or investing in something that's going to last because it's made out of really good materials and it's made well. And in this case, when we're talking about the Envy pillow, it's made sustainably, and it's also made in Canada and by 2 Canadian nurses. So it's that kind of difference. You'll get something that is the opposite of fast fashion. It is slow sleep on a pillow that's been ergonomically designed for you, and is not going to be something you throw out in 6 months because the feathers have come out, or it's falling apart, or the stitching's coming apart.
Yeah, or it's got all kinds of microbes and stuff. This pillow and everything on it, the pillowcases, the sheets, the cover for the pillow, which is washable, of course, that is what is going to keep your skin from getting all of that stuff on it that the other pillows just don't protect you from. You could listen to us about this for days, but we won't ask you to. Just go to Envy, ENVY, pillow.com. Use the code GF. We got an email from a woman this week who did just that. She said, I saved up for my Envy pillow and I want to use your discount. So we helped her through that, and she got her pillow and used the code GF for 10% off. Have an Envy pillow for yourself. It's not easy sleeping these days, like, aside from the pillow and the comfort, but the thoughts and everything going on in the world. And, that's part of what Lisa and I talk about. We sit in the morning and I wake up and say, is he dead yet? And you say, what? I said, is he dead yet? And she always knows who I mean.
Yeah.
And not the guy with the leaf blower outside. Although he's a close second some days. You know who I mean. And someone who did die this week, though, was Scott Adams, who created the very popular in the 90s cartoon strip Dilbert. Were you a fan of Dilbert?
I used to read it once in a while, but I didn't work in a cubicle,
right.
So I didn't really identify with most of the stuff. But, I thought it was kind of cool that somebody can make a living doing that. I always think that about people who do cartoons and creative things.
Yeah. And then he really lost the plot, and he started doing a podcast, and he said horrific things about races, and it was just like so unhinged. So the man is diagnosed with prostate cancer and decides not to seek medical treatment. He went with ivermectin, which just means that he died without horseworms.
That's right. And he could have lived because it wasn't a case that couldn't be cured either. It wasn't like he was terminal and was just grasping at straws.
Right.
If he had gone the regular route, he might not have died. But you got to wonder what happens to somebody like that. Did he just get emboldened because of the times we're living in?
Maybe. But boy, it sure changes your obituary when you do something like that.
It's just ever.
Oh, boy.
And he was no Jim Unger who drew Herman. I mean, that I could identify with, the women with the giant behinds and the... No, I'm just kidding.
I wonder if there was a cartoon strip that you could identify with. I remember for a while it was Kathy.
That's the only one that I came up with that I really used to identify with back in the dating days and stuff. And
yeah, and when I moved out of my home and into my very first apartment, I bought a Ziggy at a Hallmark store. And his little dog, Salt and Pepper Shaker.
That's awesome.
I know.
And there was For Better, For Worse.
Lynn Johnston.
Right.
Her stuff was always great, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These people really had an impact on us.
They really, truly did. That was the section of the newspaper you had to grab. On Saturdays, the whole comic section.
And did you ever have Silly Putty and lay it across and then pull it off to make an imprint?
Absolutely.
That's the other thing.
We all did. I don't know whether to laugh or cry about Doug Ford telling people to shop in Michigan the other day. Like, what?
I know.
You brand yourself as Captain Canada, and people go, oh, maybe I had him wrong. And then he does something like this. Hey, folks, do me a favor. What? Why?
I know. He must have friends in Michigan. He was all elbows up and all that stuff for a while. I don't understand. Whatever way the wind blows, or in this case,
money flows. Yeah. And then there's Scotiabank. Boy, that was a tempest earlier this week. Do you have any accounts or cards or anything with Scotiabank?
Not a thing. I had a mortgage many, many, many years and many husbands ago. So he said that Scotiabank should take a Trumpian view of the world. Is that
the whole Venezuela and South America thing is going to be good. That was the gist of what he said. But, you know, back when Trump first got elected, our money guy said, well, because he could just see how we felt about it all. And he said, well, you know, this could be good for your stocks and that sort of stuff. And I just looked at him and I said, I don't care what it does for our stocks. This is a much bigger picture thing. And that may be the way the bankers look at it. The bottom line, how much money, what's going to happen for our shareholders. But you don't say that out loud. And that's what the Scotiabank CEO did. So whether he faces any kind of backlash other than from people who are cutting up their cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have choices, people. We have choices. These CEOs lose touch with the common man.
Yeah.
And this is what happens.
You may be richer than you think, but we're not. Went through a bit of award show withdrawal the other day. Couldn't watch the Golden Globes, so I had to watch clips online, watch YouTube. Then I watched the Critics' Choice Awards and that sort of thing. But everybody seems to think that the host, Nikki Glaser of the Golden Globes, did a fantastic job, and she really did.
Yeah, I have to agree. She's fantastic. Ever since the Tom Brady roast, it was just A material all the way through. And everybody said she stole it. She went to another level. I'm happy for her.
Yeah, I am too, because with Ricky Gervais not doing it anymore, she had huge shoes to fill. She took all the right barbs at all the right people and softened them by saying, you know, I love you. And then in it comes. So she was really good. And there's a show that returned last week. And one of our Gracefully and Frankly listeners wrote to us and said, I don't know if you've seen this show. And we should have mentioned it because it dropped on Thursday a week ago. So the second episode comes tonight. And I think everybody knows I'm talking about season 2 of The Pit.
Right.
Yes.
Fantastic show. Don't watch it because it's too intense for me, but I do appreciate it. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. So I'm not going to be watching it till I get back, I don't think, because Rob and I have that pact of watching it together, right? But it is that unusual show that you cannot possibly be on your phone, even playing a video game or whatever. It's not passive. You have to watch every minute. And how many shows can you say that about?
Not very many.
No, not at all.
I watch you, you watch me. We're both that way.
That's right. Oh, so we have been having a wonderful visit, and we have reached out to a listener who is in the area and asked her about some recommendations on local markets and stuff, because you want to take back a special gift for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Not you, Derek. I know you're listening. We don't want you expecting something special when we get home, except Lisa. You'll get Lisa.
Yeah. And another T-shirt.
Yeah, likely.
Yeah.
And we'll do some sightseeing. We'll get out a little bit more and go out for a meal or two and just have a good time reconnecting and getting ready for next Thursday's Gracefully and Frankly Live. So once again, if you have anything you want us to discuss, you are more than welcome to do that. And I will make sure to have my Sierra Sil bottle right there to make sure that I show you that I don't go anywhere without it. Rob's got his, I've got mine. A great Canadian company, an anti-inflammatory that guarantees you will feel difference in your joint pain, even in the cold. And on the ice, can we talk about salt and de-icing in Southern Ontario? And we will, But you got to check it out. Read real reviews for SierraSil at their website. And again, if it doesn't work within 14 days, taking it as directed, you get your money back.
SierraSil.com is the website. Sierra like the mountains, SIL.com. And use the code GF for 14% off.
Now, on a salty note, just like a margarita, what about that in Ontario? And how much are you missing it right now?
Not at all. It's so icy. We had those ice storms over Christmas, and then we had more ice. And so there's been a lot more this year. For example, Godrich, there's the giant salt mine there, and they haven't been able to keep up with demand. So some landscapers and others are importing salt from Quebec, which is costing them so much more.
Oh.
And they just haven't been able to keep up with it. And we were talking about, whether there should be alternatives, but almost every alternative you come up with has salt in it, like a brine or whatever. So no one anticipated this. It's just been a really unusual year for being slippery.
Wow, no kidding. Ice is a problem on both sides of the border, it turns out. Thankfully, ours is less lethal. What a week it's been for that, too. But we cannot leave today without This Week in Totally Stupid or Twins. Look at that. When we have eye contact, we do it at the same time.
So I don't know what's in the water in Saskatchewan, but the RCMP released their top twits for calling 911 when it wasn't necessary last year.
Oh, is this better than the guy with the Zamboni call?
I think so.
Okay.
I think some of them are. Of course, there's a serious component to this. You call 911 when you don't need to, and you could be taking up the line for somebody, but mostly they're just dumb.
Okay.
So here's the selection from the top 10 dumbest calls they got. A frustrated person called to complain that they were out of toilet paper.
And police had nothing to go on.
A person called upset because they had to drive their expensive vehicle through a construction zone.
Oh, the humanity.
Someone else called upset because their friend cooked the last pork chop without permission. And those are your twits.
Good on you, Saskatchewan. Thanks for representing.
Thanks for making us proud.
Okay. Have a great weekend. Enjoy Hockey Day in Canada on Saturday. It's going to be hosted in Moncton. And this coming Monday we'll give you the heads up, they're going to tell you it's the saddest day of the year. And seasonal depression is a thing. But this Monday, remember, it was just something they came up with. A British travel agency came up with it because they figured the bills are coming in from Christmas. The weather is shite, and it's kind of a blah time of year. Although last week it was raining in Winnipeg. What the heck?
That's strange.
That you call 911 on.
Exactly.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay. We will make your week better next week, no matter how blue you are. Don't miss our Facebook Live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And until then, I'm Erin Davis.
I'm Lisa Bratt.
We love you. Adios.
Bye-bye.